let's go ahead and start modeling another riser in the plan. So right here in the 5th floor, we have a floor drain over here, and there's another floor drain over on this side, both of which are connected to this riser, and said riser is called FD1. So we're just going to model this riser down to the lowest offset it goes, and we're going to talk more and learn more about it. As you can see, some of our floor drains are also placed at different locations from the architectural plan. So we're just going to draw their pipes according to the architectural. Now I'll get the pipe command PI, then I'm going to check fitting as walls here, sanitary. Then for the diameter here it says 110, so we're going to select that. And then as for the elevation, you see when we've got a column over here, that means that there's probably also a beam in the way. So it is best that first we create a section. Over here, click and click. Then we're going to make our section tighter. And then right click on the section border, then go to view. So right now we are in the 5th floor, and the pipes we're going to be modeling will be going below this ceiling right here. Now before I draw anything, first I'm going to measure the height of this beam up to the FFL, which appears to be 420. So I'm going to use this value for specifying the elevation of the pipes. Let's get the pipe command again, PI. Then for the elevation, I'm going to put negative 420. Now we're going to be drawing from the floor drain towards the riser, so we could make the slope down, or if we want to draw from the riser to the floor drain, we could select slope up. I'm just going to make it slope down because we're going to be drawing from the floor drain. Now in the plan, we can see that we have this line for the pipe of this floor drain. So I'm going to model this pipe in this direction. We're just going to draw a little from the floor drain, then go down at 45 degrees. Now also to draw this pipe on straight lines, I could use some reference planes, RP. Then I'm going to click on the axis of the riser. Then I'm going to draw a 45-degree reference plane all the way up to the floor drain. And then I'm going to draw another reference plane from the axis of the floor drain itself. So basically this is our pipe path. Let's get the pipe command again, PI, and we're going to begin drawing the pipe. We're going to start from near the floor drain, and then we're going to click on the reference plane's cross section, and then we're going to go down at 45 degrees towards the riser, then click again. Now I'm going to want to use two 45-degree elbows to go down vertically to the riser. For that, we could go through the same process as we did in the previous videos, like we could create a 45-degree section first, and then we go in that section to draw the two 45-degree elbows to draw the pipe. But this time, we're going to try something different. First, let's get the pipe command, PI. Then we're going to head into the Properties palette, click on Edit Type, and then we're going to go to Segments and Fittings, then click on the Edit button below it. Then this window appears. First, let me stretch it a little bit. Here we have a list of all of the fittings that will be used in our project. You can see that for elbow, we've got 4 fittings or families, and the first one is prioritized over all the others to be used. It's actually the 45-degree elbow. It also has 2 poles, negative and positive. And in the 3rd row, we've got another elbow fitting that says double. So it's kind of like this one has put 2 45-degree elbows right next to each other to make one single family, and we could use that for such cases. So let's try it and see how it turns out. In order to make this one prioritized, I'm going to set the minimum size for all the others to none, and then I'm going to make this one none as well so that it doesn't use it, and from here on out we will be using this family for the elbow fittings. And now click OK. Alright, so to continue, we're going to select this pipe, then right click on its end, select Draw Pipe, and also make sure the slope is down. And then I'm going to continue drawing to the center of the riser that's been demonstrated in the plan, and now we want to draw it downwards. So I'll change the elevation to, for example, negative 2000, then click Apply twice. Now let's go create a 45-degree section over this to see what it looks like. So one click here, and another one over here. And now let's make our section tighter. Right click on it and go to View. So as you can see, the family that we've just used for the elbow looks like this. and it appears to be two joined elbows into one family space, making them into one individual family. And also, now that we are drawing our pipe downwards, we could use this family for the 90 degrees we need. And again, it appears that they are two 45-degree elbows, but in fact they are one family. Now, if I wanted to draw based on the previous process, for example, let me select this pipe, copy it, and place the copy down here. Now, again, I'm going to have to select this pipe, click on Edit Type, then Edit, and now I'm going to change the minimum sizes back to all, so the elbows will be used. Click OK and OK. Now to continue, right-click, draw pipe, go down at 45 degrees, and then straight down again at 45 degrees. So basically, in order to avoid having two separate elbows, and to save more time and space, we use the double 45-degree elbow to draw the pipe downwards at 90 degrees. But the family we used for that was two joined 45-degree elbows. Now also, in case the negative-positive directions are incorrect, you could just select the family, and then you go to the Properties palette and see the family that you've used, which is this one right now, and you could use this one instead. It's the one that says positive. Now you can see the socket position has changed. The pipe goes in the fitting, then the elbows are joined, and this pipe is inside this end socket. So these are the two ways that you could use when drawing your risers, but first you need to know what you are trying to draw and which items you prefer to have in your schedules. When it comes to creating schedules, you should always pay attention to this stuff. For instance, if we see that it says one instance of this family, we should know that it means there are two elbows. We're going to talk all about that in the schedule part. Now let me delete this extra pipe. Delete. And the elevation that we used for drawing this pipe was negative 420, which appears to be too high as the pipe is interfering with the beam. So we're going to select it and bring it lower. And now the elevation seems to be better. Now let's go over here. This pipe is going to be going up towards the floor drain. And since we've only got some floor drains around this area, we're not going to be using any trap fittings. So I'm just going to grab this section's header and move it out of the way. And then I'm going to select this pipe, right click on it, select draw pipe, and make sure the slope is up. And then we're going to draw to the axis of the floor drain. Click, and now we're going to want to lead it up. So we're going to make the elevation 0, then click apply twice. And now let's create a section to see how it turned out. So click and click. And then we're going to make the section tighter. And after that, we're going to right click and go to view. So as you can see, we have changed the prioritized elbow fitting for our drawing. I'll select it, go to edit type, then edit. Here we once again chose to use this elbow. And it really depends on the degrees at which you're going to be drawing. Like if I draw at 90 degrees, then it's going to give me a 90-degree elbow, and a 45-degree elbow if I draw at 45 degrees. So this elbow fitting is different from the one that we used earlier. This one's angles changes at whichever angle we draw, and the one we placed in this section is a family that can be used only for 90-degree purposes, which also looks like two joined 45-degree elbows. So we haven't used the right 90-degree elbow. I'm going to delete this. Then I'm going to select this pipe, go to Edit Type, select Edit, and then I'm going to make this elbow none as well as this one, and have this fitting to be used instead. Click OK and OK. Now let's continue. Right click, draw pipe, make sure the slope is up, then draw towards the center of the floor drain. Click, and then we're going to go upwards to the elevation 0, then click apply twice. Now let's go check in this section, and now we've got two 45-degree elbows. So at times where you need 90-degree elbows, using this elbow family would make your process go faster. Remember that that family is only used for 90-degree angles, whereas here we've got a 45-degree angle. Now let's try to draw a 45-degree angle. Get in the pipe command PI, then click over here, go at 45 degrees, click again, then click again at 45 degrees. Now as you can see, it wasn't feasible because this fitting is only used for 90 degrees. It has two joined 45-degree elbows, making them 90 degrees. Now how do we draw the pipes on this side? We could once again use this section. I'm going to right click on it, go to view, and now I'm going to get the pipe command PI, then click on this pipe, then go up at 45 degrees, click again. And remember that we still can't use that 90-degree elbow that we used for the previous pipes. So I'll have to select this pipe, then click on Edit Type, then go to Edit. Then I'm going to enable this fitting, click OK and OK. Now right click on here, Draw Pipe, make sure the slope is up, then go straight to the right. So you should always keep in mind that when you are about to draw 45-degree angles, you will need to go to Edit Type and make sure the right family is enabled. Now I'm going to move this T-fitting higher a little, as well as this pipe over here, and now they're all in correct positions. Alright, now to continue, we're going to right click, select Draw Pipe, make sure the slope is up, and again at 45 degrees. And then we're going to draw straight to the right, all the way to here and click. Now as you can see, the floor drain's position is different from the plan, so let's align AL, the floor drain's axis, with the pipes. Now if we look back in here, the pipes and fittings are in the right positions. Let's go double check in this section, go to View, and here we are. Okay, so now if we try to connect this pipe to the floor drain, once again we're going to select the pipe, go to Edit Type, then Edit, and we're going to make the other elbows none and keep the double 45 degrees, click OK and OK. Now here we're going to right click, Draw Pipe, make sure the slope is up, then we're going to draw towards the center of the floor drain, change the elevation to 0, then click Apply twice. Now our riser is going to be going down. First let's go check this riser FD1 over in the riser diagram. And here it is, FD1, which comes in from the 5th floor, and then it goes all the way down without any branches connected to it, and it ends at the 3rd basement. Now let's go double check in the floor plans to see if the same thing has been demonstrated as in the riser diagram. And in other words, we want to make sure there aren't any architectural flaws, and to make sure that the pipe doesn't interfere with the wall or anything else along its way. First, let's go into this section where we're going to try to extend this riser all the way down to the 3rd basement. So first I'm going to have to stretch this section from the bottom down to the -3rd floor, or the 3rd basement, which is over here. And then I'm going to go on to this pipe, right click on it, select Draw Pipe, and then I'm going to draw all the way down to the 3rd basement. We're going to stop here. So here we've got a contradiction, and maybe if we check from another angle in another floor, we see that they are adjacent to each other. So we were in the 5th floor plan. Now I'm going to expand this one, then go into the 4th floor plan, and we're going to check the pipe situation in a lower level, and here they are. We've got two risers next to each other, but in the section they seem to be inside each other. But if I reposition the riser a little bit and make that section tighter, now let's right click on the section again, go to View, and now we can see only the riser we're working on. So it is in the right position in the 4th floor as well. It goes right on the riser opening as in the plan. Now let's go check in the 3rd floor, and it seems to be fine there as well. And also, as you can see, we've got some branches in said levels. For example, here in the 3rd floor, we've got this branch. And now let's go double check in the riser diagram, and if we check in the 3rd floor, and here it is, you can see that there aren't any branches connected to the riser. So here we can report that the riser diagram has a problem with this riser. And for example, this riser number 2 does have the branches that it's getting in the different levels. But as for this riser number 1, as the tag also says FD1, and there's also a line for branch for this riser. This floor drain is going to be connected to it. Now let's go check in the upper level in the 4th floor, where we have the same exact branch once again. Now let's go check in the 2nd floor. And then if we take a look in this floor plan, we can see that the location of the riser is different from what we have in the plan. And not only the positions are different, but we can also notice how this riser is interfering with the wall. Now I'm going to go back to the 3rd floor and select this riser, then go back to the 2nd floor, and this way we can make sure that the riser we thought had a problem is the same thing. Now to make sure that we see the items better, we're going to change the view range. We're going to press VR. Then change the top offset to -1500, and we're going to put the same thing for the view depth offset, then click OK. So now that we can see the plans better, we understand that this riser is going to have to go down from here, and then it's going to have to lead this way. We are in the 2nd floor, so I could just use this section, right click on it, then go to View, And now we're gonna go on to the second floor. And here we are. That change of direction happens in here. So first I'm going to split this pipe using the split element tool, and the rest of it goes down to the third basement, so we could just select this end of it, then delete it. Now we're going to continue from here, right click on this pipe, select draw pipe, then make sure the slope is up. And also which elbow we had enabled, we were using the 2 joint 45-degree elbows, so this needs to be 90 degrees. We're going to also move it up as far as possible to make more space. Now let's head back to the second floor plan, and we're going to continue from here. Right click, draw pipe, and we're going to draw all the way down. And this time around, we're going to be changing directions at 45-degree angles. So once again, we're going to have to go back to Edit Type, then Edit, then re-enable that elbow family, click OK, and OK. Now let's continue, right click, draw pipe, go down at 45 degrees, then straight to the right towards the riser, then press Escape. Now we're going to select this elbow, then click on its plus sign to convert it to a T to make way for the floor cleanout that we're going to be placing later on. Now we also had another branch on the side, so while we're still using the 45-degree elbows, let's draw these as well. First we get the pipe command PI, enable inherit elevation, slope up. Now click on this pipe, go up at 45 degrees, and then we're going to draw all the way to the right to the floor drain, which has a different position from the architectural demonstration. So we use a line AL, click on the axis of the floor drain and the axis of the pipe to align them together. Alright, so from this point on out, we're going to be using those double 45-degree elbows. So select the pipe, Edit Type, Edit, change this to None, then click OK and OK. Now right click on the pipe, select Draw Pipe, and we're going to raise it up to the elevation 0, then click Apply twice. Now over here, once again, we want to finish this pipe, so select the pipe first. Right click on it, select Draw Pipe, then make sure the slope is down, and we're going to draw to the riser's axis, and now we want to direct it straight down, so I'm going to change the elevation to, for example, -2000, then click Apply twice. Alright, so now we're going to need to check what happens to these risers in the other floors. First, I'm going to create a section right about here, and actually I'm just going to make it horizontal, so we could also check the elevations for the beams. Now I'm going to make the section tighter, then right click on it and go to View. So here's our pipe and its elevation seems to be fine because we lowered its elevation to avoid interfering with another beam. Now I'm going to stretch this section from the bottom, then right click on this pipe, select Draw Pipe, and we're going to extend it all the way down to the third basement, and then we're going to check it out in the other levels for any changes in direction. So everything was fine in the second floor. Now let's go to the first mid. And here's our pipe. It's interfering with the column's corner. So we're going to have to select this riser and move it a little bit to the left to resolve this interference. So this is the first mid floor. And if we go take a look in the first floor itself, we can see the riser and it's not interfering with the column, so it's fine. And now let's check in the ground floor, where the pipe is going further down, and here it is. Again, we're going to need to double check its position because as you can see, once again, it has a different location from what's demonstrated in the plan. But still, it seems like it is fine, and we're sure it's the same riser because its tag says so. There goes the ground floor. Now let's go to the negative first mid. And if we check over here, we can see that once again, the location of this riser is different from the plans and it's also interfering with the column. So basically this one needs to be repositioned or redirected by using a couple of elbows. Now let's go check the rest of the floors, go into the negative first level. And again here we notice that this riser needs some change in direction or repositioning to be in the right location. Let's go to negative second, where we've got the same thing going on. And lastly, in the negative third floor, we can see that here is our riser. Now in this final floor, it changes directions and goes this way and reaches the sump pit. After the sump pit, it changes directions and goes another way. So when the riser reaches this level, it's going to have to go across the actual floor and get to this pit right here. Now let's go see which level we need to make this change in direction. We're going to go back to the second floor, And if we take a look over here, we see that the riser is in the right position. So now we're going to go lower to the first mid floor. And as you can see, again, it's in the right position. Now let's go to the actual first floor, where we see that again, the position is right. But the problem starts from the negative first mid floor. Now first I'm going to hide the plan temporarily in this floor. I'm going to hit VV, then go over to the Imported Categories tab, uncheck the visibility for the plan, then click OK. Now we can still see that column we had in the plan. And first things first, we know that it's interfering with this column over here. As for the upper level, which would be the ground floor, we didn't have that interference, and the pipe goes beside the column. Now to help you understand that even better, I'm going to press VV again. Uncheck the plan's visibility, then click OK. And now you can see the riser's position better. Also, if you couldn't identify the column, you could just go over here to change the discipline to coordination. And now let's see if we can see the column better. And this is what it's going to look like. Now we're going to need to change the pipe's direction from this point and lead it straight down. Or we could move to the upper level where we again had that problem and maybe expand the column's cover at this point, just in case that repositioning of this pipe might mess up with the slopes or the fittings. So in other words, we could also make the column cover this pipe as well. So first I'm going to bring this lower, and then I'm going to extend it in this direction. So overall, we're making the riser go from here. Now let's go check in the lower level, in the first mid. Then we can see the pipe has moved here, and the column cover will cover it as well. Let's go lower to the first floor and see that the riser is fine. And now let's head to the negative first mid, where again the riser is in front of the column. Now let's hit VV to turn the plan back on. Imported Categories, check visibility, click OK. And now it's much closer to the plan's demonstration. In the negative first, it seems fine, and it has to be the same in the negative